Good afternoon and welcome to another Memo in Conversation. My name is Lauren and I'm a staff writer at Middle East Monitor. Today I'm joined by Abir Tobji, the co-founder of the Celebrating Syria Festival, which is set to kick off online this Saturday, the 5th of December. We will be discussing the festival, which is the first such event dedicated to showcasing Syrian arts and culture in the UK, and features a stand-up comedy act, a political cartoon exhibition, film screenings and music gigs. Alongside her work with the Celebrating Syria Festival, Abir is a project manager at the People's History Museum in Manchester and a volunteer at Rethink Rebuild Society. Welcome, Abir. Thank you for joining us today. Let's start by talking about how and why the festival was originally set up.
Hi, Lauren. Thank you so much for your interest in covering the festival. And inviting me to speak today. So the festival was set up in 2017. We've been running it on annual basis. That's why this is our fourth festival. It started completely as a crazy idea by some people from the Syrian community. I was involved at setting up that. It wasn't planned, and we were really ambitious in terms of how big we wanted to go the first year. And whenever I remember it, it's quite, it was quite ambitious. So we didn't have any funding. We just had to do some fundraising from the Syrian community. So it is basically something that we've started as Syrians in the UK with the help of Syrians in the UK as well. And Rethink Rebuild Society, for people who don't know it, is more or less the Syrian community center in Manchester. And they have a lot within their portfolio on what they usually do, but we did approach them. We are always regular visitors to whatever they do. So they were excited from the beginning to host this. It all started when we took an exhibition called Parallel Republic that was on display in Manchester, actually in the museum where I work now. And we took it to put it on display, and then we decided to have other events around it, and things happened so quickly. It was very successful, and we decided to do it again with a bit more time to plan. And last year we even won the Manchester Culture Award for the category of promotion of equality and diversity. So we did move quite quickly in terms of how forward we moved. Your other part of the question, I guess, was why we did that. Obviously, we have been shaping our objectives of why we are doing this throughout the years. But the main thing was, and is still, that we wanted to showcase what Syria is about, in giving an alternative point of view rather than what the mainstream media have been and covering and probably not covering even now. But by then, Syria was still a big topic on the news. And although what they are covering as a tragedy is probably the main topic here in Syria now, but we always wanted to showcase the people of Manchester mainly, because this is where we started, what is Syria about, and what other aspects we have to Syrian life. And this has remained our main objectives alongside other things, which will probably come up throughout our conversation.
And with showcasing what Syria is about from this grassroots approach, how do you pick which arts feature in the festival?
So there isn't a straightforward answer, because we have different starting points. So we have a theme for each year usually, and I'll explain later what is this year's theme. So usually the events during that festival program will be around that. Other things that we take into consideration is featuring Syrian artists in the UK as a primary goal. Although there's many Syrians here, but they are not as much as other European countries, so there isn't a lot of platforms for them to showcase their work. Some of them have been involved in the festival since the first year, and we consider them family now. The other considerations is someone approaching us, telling us they have this idea and they want to do it, us trying to see what's new that have been produced. But taking all this into consideration, the main thing we try to cater for is the diversity of interest, because we have a very diverse audience with very different interests depending on even ages. So we always have in mind that we need to program something that is suitable for different ages and interests. Yeah, that's mostly what we try to do, diverse our program mainly.
By trying to make it so diverse, do you think that the arts that you display are therefore effective in showcasing sort of a wide range of Syrian culture?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that is really not known about Syria, in let's say in the West, not particularly in the UK, is how diverse the Syrian people are. So we are a very diverse society, and this is not usually portrayed within our mainstream media and everything that is being reported about Syria. So and sometimes it was oppressed even historically within Syria, like the expression of this type of heritage and identity. So within the art form we use, first of all, art was found to be like for us as well as a universal language. So using art to also raise awareness about what's going on in Syria has been very effective, rather than people just sitting down listening to someone talking about some topic. Obviously, this is still part of our program, so it's not like we don't do any talks, but we do have a highlight on different types of expressions. I'm trying to figure out some examples, but we especially last year, because it was more about, the theme was more about highlighting this diversity. We try to really represent a lot of the heritage and culture and identities that are in Syria, whether that in terms of ethnicities or different localities or even religions. So it is complex. Syria is complex, and the revolution and the war that followed that, and obviously the wider impact during the refugee crisis has made it very difficult to tackle, and for people to understand what's actually happened, and where is the core problem, if you want. So it is a complex issue, and that's how we try to untangle it.
And obviously the festival it's trailblazing in that regard and in displaying Syrian culture, but this year it's had to change a lot because of the coronavirus pandemic. And I know that you've said that means that your event will reach lots more people outside of Manchester. But beyond being online, how is the festival different this year? And how have you been forced to adapt to the current circumstances?
So we have pros and cons in terms of how we had to adapt. We actually didn't take the decision to go online until very recently. So we weren't keen on going online at the beginning. Then we, probably when we figured that this crisis is taking longer than expected, we were like, let's do something even if it's smaller than usual. And it is actually the program for this year is quite smaller than usual. But we thought we needed to keep this connection with our audiences, and probably just highlight. We have this feeling of responsibility to keep bringing up Syria within all these international events, and this is what our exhibition is about for this year. Other things that I noticed is that this year we're taking a very sarcastic approach. So whether within our focus on cartoons or on our very anticipated comedy performance or gig, we are actually taking this with a laugh, which is something that I personally, and I think most of us Syrians have have turned to lately, probably as a defense mechanism. I don't know, but yeah, this is the main difference. And of course, we were able to work with artists who are not based in the UK, who are usually, although we focus on working with artists in the UK, but whenever we want to actually invite someone from outside, it's almost impossible to get them a visa. So we are very limited in terms of who can get involved and who can present any work. So for this year, we don't have this barrier. And of course, we're looking forward to all the new audiences, whether in the UK or beyond, especially in Syria, if their internet connection allows them to attend. And that's why we're trying also to have most of our events both in English and Arabic, which is not something that we are usually able to do. We try to do that as much as possible, hoping to become a bilingual festival at some point.
And you just said that this year being online has meant that you can have people taking part from all over the world, really, because the visa issue, like you said, isn't there. So do you have people who are currently based in Syria or who are based in the region who are taking part in the festival?
Yeah, mainly we have within the cartoon exhibition. So we have 33 artists, Syrian art cartoonists, who are involved in this virtual digital exhibition, which will be available from the beginning of the festival. So out of these 33, I didn't count how many are in Syria, but there's a few. And one of them, who is Amani Ali, she's based in the north of Syria in Idlib, and she's joining us for the event that where we're going to meet the cartoonists, and there will be 5 of them introducing themselves and their work and answering any questions as an opening for the exhibition on Sunday. So Amani will join us from Syria.
That's really exciting. I'll definitely be tuning in for that one.
Yeah.
I noticed that you mentioned the theme earlier, which is Alone Together, which is obviously particularly poignant given the current circumstances. Yeah. But can you give us more of an insight into why you picked that theme?
So as you said, it's quite obvious that it was picked for Corona. Probably if you think of it in the other way around, we probably pitched it in the other way around, because what is sad at the moment is that we are, as human beings, let's say, we're all facing the same problem together, if you want to say, but each one is doing it alone. But we wanted to showcase the positive picture of that, like we are alone, but we can still celebrate Syria and all other cultures together. So we did realize later that this was a hashtag that was probably used in the UK for the NHS or something else, like a campaign. Not sure what it was about particularly, but yeah, this was after we actually chose it.
Yeah, and if we can move on to sort of more logistical concerns with the festival being online, and obviously you said that you weren't keen to go online, but you've had to. So can you tell our viewers how and where people can watch the festival events, how it works? Do they need to register, pay for events, or will they be live streamed for free?
So first of all, all the events are free of charge. We, of course, we ask people for their support and donations if they can, but we don't have this as a condition. This has always been the case for the festival, even with the actual physical events. We have to have them ticketed usually, but we always have the free option for whoever can't afford it, because we believe that culture is for everyone. But for this year, we have made the free option as a default option, and we always ask people to provide any donations if they can. So to register, you can go to our website. It's celebratingsyria.org. And there will be on the front page all the events with links to the booking or registration, let's say, page, which is on Eventbrite. Once people register, they will receive, before the events, a Zoom link. Obviously now our live is on Zoom, to join the event. We are hoping to live stream most of the events on Facebook. But Facebook's not reliable, as we were talking before. So just to make sure you have the definite access, please register on Zoom and you will receive your link. As for the program itself, there is quite a difference that probably I need to highlight for people to differentiate. So we do have a film program, which is a collection of 6 films that are different in terms of what you can see. We did that on purpose because people watch films for different reasons. Some of them are more to portray the humanitarian aspects, more are political, and we actually have one that is dated from the 70s and is like a masterpiece that we are very excited to see. I haven't watched it. This festival program, you need to register in order to get the password. So this one in particular won't be live streamed, obviously, because of copyright issues. So for this one, people can just register for the whole film program, and they will get a pass for all films. Please register for that, otherwise you won't be able to see any of those. And of course, the exhibition that I touched upon will be launched from the beginning and will be accessible for everyone.
And will there be any interactive elements? I mean, I know you've mentioned that there's a session with the cartoonists, including one that is actually based in Syria. But is there any kind of extra recorded content or Q&As that viewers can really get stuck into?
Yeah, so we will be recording. We have a workshop that we are very excited about, a music workshop for families. So it is going to be led by Rihab Azar. She's an oud player based in London, and she's one of the artists who's been involved in the project since the beginning. So I was just editing the video a while ago, and it's quite impressive because she's actually taking us through the process of oud making from her personal memories, because her father was an oud maker, and she sent us a lot of music as well, where she is playing. So it will be a video where if you're an adult or if you don't enjoy handcrafts, you will just be able to enjoy the music and learning more about the process. And if you have small children, you can always have them engaged. They will be able to produce a small oud from whatever they find in their house. So we're hoping that we can get engage children with this activity. For Q&As, we have several events where participants will be able to send their questions, mainly via Zoom, but of course as well, wherever it is live streamed, it will be incorporated. Obviously, if people have any specific requests, they can reach to us via Facebook or other social media accounts beforehand. In terms of the music events, I doubt there will be a possibility to do any Q&As just for the practicalities of the events themselves, I'm afraid. So yeah, that's how we have to adapt to the new modality of online events.
And you said there about the music workshop that's perfect for families, and that you have been editing the video, I think. Can you give us a sneak peek of what sort of items children might need around the house to be able to make their own?
So basic ones, rubber bands, where you can use them as strings, and any empty box, I would say, like a Tupperware or a card box if it was strong enough. And I think that those were the basics. There were other potential or optional, ones, but these are enough. and you can enjoy your time with Rehab. I think I will be doing it as well.
I think I will be too. So with that in mind, obviously you've mentioned a lot of the events that are going to be happening, but what would you say are the highlights of the festival? What would you recommend to our viewers?
That's a tricky question because, you know, I can't skip anything. And as I said, we have something for everyone. So our main two music events are the opening night and the finale night. So, but these are totally different. So we have, for the opening, we have the family of Osama Kiwan. So it's the Kiwan's family, which is composed of 4 musicians. And they are based in London. They will be live streaming from there in a very cozy living room. And that would be our first night with them. While for the finale, we have 2 DJs, Syrian DJs, who will be playing electronic music. So of course, some people don't have this as a preference. So it depends on what you like. Obviously, if you are more into learning more about Syria, you'll be tuning in to the Cartooning Syria events for a chat with the cartoonist and probably the pianist of Yarmouk, which is a combination of music and discussion, while also focusing on the film program because there's quite a few documentaries. If you are more into cuisine, also, we always cover that. We usually have workshops, like live workshops where we actually cook some Syrian food. But for this time, we are having a conversation with the food blogger, Anthony Tahan. So yeah, we do have different things. For the films, we have a feature film, which is We Are Not Princesses, which follows the story of 4 Syrian women or Palestinian Syrian, depending on how they identify, in Shatila camp in Beirut, where they gather to express their emotions and feelings through Antigone, which is an ancient Greek play. So we have a Q&A with the director, Itab Azzam, as well, but this film is something that I would recommend as a highlight, in addition to the war show. And finally, the movie that I talked about by Osama Muhammad, Step by Step, which is produced in the 1978.
It certainly sounds like a jam-packed timeline. But I know you can find the schedule online at your website, but can you remind us when that second music event is, which is the finale of the festival?
That's the Friday, the 11th. So the festival will be running from Saturday, the 5th of December till Friday, the 11th.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Abir. I think that just about concludes our time. Thank you very much for joining us today and giving us a behind-the-scenes look at the Celebrating Syria Festival. And of course, best of luck for the event, which starts on Saturday.
Thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy as well your oud making workshop.
I'm certainly looking forward to that one. So for our viewers, the festival opens on Saturday at 11 a.m. with the first live event at 8 p.m. that evening. The events can all be accessed via the Celebrating Syria Festival website, which is celebratingsyria.org, but you can find the link on the MEMO website. Thank you very much for joining us today. We'll be back at 4 p.m. next Wednesday for the next instalment of MEMO in Conversation, where we'll be joined by another guest. We look forward to seeing you then. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.